Hey everyone, it's Michael here at Home Health Success Academy, and now you are in our closing video series. And why are we talking about closing? What do we really mean by closing? Well, closing is 100% of your revenue. And what we mean about closing is being able to close the deal. And a lot of times is the inexperienced marketers out there, the inexperienced business people in our industry are having problems getting referrals because they actually don't know how to close the deal. The close part of the whole entire sales process is what's going to get you the revenue. If you can't close a deal, if you can't get this person that you marketed to, that you presented to start referring patients to you, then right there and then it shows that you cannot get any referrals. And if you can't get referrals, guess what? You're not going to bring revenue. If you can't bring in revenue, how can you pay for your office, your staff? How can you pay for your salary? If you are a marketer and you can't close a deal, how can you justify to the owner of the agency that he should continuously pay you weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, yearly, and for you to keep your job? So learning how to close is very vital in this industry. It's 100% of our salary, our revenue, our sales experience. That's how we need to justify the closing portion. Now, here's the thing. You can't even get to the closing part if you can't even create a process first, because closing is part of the whole sales process. And the problem is a lot of us out there don't even have a good product, right? We try to be the same exact agency as other companies, yet we can't even present properly. We don't even have the proper items to be able to market ourselves out there. There are companies out there who does not even have a website until this very moment. 10, 15 years ago, it's already been said, you must have a website to be able to be known as established. If you can't even have a website then that means you didn't exist. And so for companies to, until now, until this very day, don't have any websites, well, that's what's causing problems. One of the problems. Nowadays, the new website is social media. And is your website mobile adjustable, right? Is it able to be viewed mobile, right? Where it actually can change how it looks in a mobile phone? Do you have social media to be able to market your products? The next thing is most of our websites are not even based on how it should be nowadays. We treat our website as a digital brochure, and that is far from what a website is. So, but in the closing section, this is where we're gonna share with you guys what to say, when to say things. Now, if you are watching this video, I will honestly tell you this, that you should first watch our objection video series, because that is part of the whole presentation, the whole sales process. The closing section is just a minute part of the sales process. And if you can't even handle objections from your greeting, from your prospecting, from your presenting, your qualifying, from your proposition, how can you even put yourself into the close? You cannot jump the sales process. You must follow the sales process from prospecting, right? From after prospecting, greeting, meeting someone, from qualifying them, from being able to do a good presentation, how to be able to propose a deal, and then the close. And after close, it's the follow-up. So we are spending a whole video series in the follow-up, and the reason for that is because you need to be able to present yourself out there and to be able to handle the objections. Now, as you go throughout the whole sales process, you're gonna experience objections, right? And so these objections that you face, what we did in the previous video series for the whole objection video series is where we gave you guys a more core script on how to handle those things, how to handle when you face an objection. Now, in the closing section video series, we're now going to give you more upgraded scripts that you can incorporate into the whole facing objections. Just like anything else, our goal is to give you a core strengthen the core, which is the scripts for the whole objection process in the sales process. Now what we're doing is we're building muscles for you to attach to those scripts that you have. And so before we can understand the close, we must be able to know the basics of it, right? Analyze it. And so that's what this video series is about. Is first we're going to talk about the importance, why the close is the importance part of your industry and your business and your marketing and your sales. And then we're going to then categorize several of the objections and know when to use those particular closes into those areas of objections that you're facing. So let's go ahead and get started and start talking about the closing. Now, let's talk about the closing basics, the basic ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s. You need to have the basics down. If you can actually understand what the close is and the importance of it, you're going to start removing those fears, the discomfort out there about the close. A lot of us can't even handle when somebody gives us an objection. And when somebody says, no, I'm not going to speak to you, you then go into this random, like, please, please, please give me a try. You know, here's my brochures. Here's 20 pens. Here's some $50 worth of lunch and learn food. I know, look, just give this. Here's so much value, value, value. We think us feeding them, giving them gifts, giving them little items, trinkets is what we're creating value so they can refer to us. No, they want to work with companies that's going to give them value by making sure they're making their jobs easier. They're solving the problems that they're facing with the patients that are being discharged to home. A family wants a company that's going to service their mom, their dad, their grandparents, making sure that we're investing $26, $27, $30 an hour for you to take care of my grandpa. It's not what you're going to do and feed me. It's like, are you going to give the services that we want, that we need, that we require? Because if you can close, only then can you build confidence to handle any prospects. If you can remove the fears and discomfort and getting the basics down, that's going to build your confidence. Children, when they begin to learn to walk, right, they're going to fail continuously, but as they slowly build their core, their strength, their strength in their legs and their back muscles, slowly but surely they build their balance and they're able to start walking. And they have that confidence. That's why we cheer kids along, right? Even if they fall, no, it's okay. Get up, you can do this. Yet we don't cheer our marketers and train them what they need to learn, the basics of things. We think that if I give you brochures, if I give you little handouts, little giveaways, that you're going to start closing the deals and bringing in referrals. You need to practice with exact scripts and word tracks. You need to learn how to be able to correct your common mistakes. You must learn that there is a cost for every time that you close or don't close. If you're a marketer, and let's say I'm the owner and administrator, and I pay you $25 an hour, and within those 2 hours that you did a presentation, you drove to a place, and you can't close that deal, I lost $50. Plus the little giveaways that you gave out, plus the handouts. So if in one day of going out there and you don't get anything for the company, you just lost that company that money. So every time that you don't close the deal, you are not bringing in money. Closing is the most vital skill in the market, and sales is also important because closing is part of the whole sales process. It's where 100% of your patient referrals are created. Now, understand one thing, that you are not the first person to benefit from the close. Because if you start thinking about, well, I need to get this, I need to get that so I can do this. No. The first person that's going to benefit from the close is the patient themselves. They're the primary benefits of a close. Why? Because if you're closing a deal, if you're selling your company, your product, you must believe in the product. That's part of an important part when you're presenting your company, is you must believe in the product. You must say, hey, this is a company that I can work for, and because I can work for them, I know that if they took care of my parents, that I'll trust that they'll give them the services that I'm promising out there. So the primary person that's supposed to benefit from a close is not you, not the company, but the patient themselves. To close, you must have confidence in yourself and in the product. It is the most important thing. There's people out there trying to sell products that they don't believe in, and it's going to transfer. It's going to translate to their presentation. And people will see that. And that is something that we have to understand. I've worked with agency owners out there, marketers out there, and sometimes I ask them, I said, would you trust your company to take care of your mom and dad, your children? Some say yes, some say no. The ones that say yes, I'll ask them the next question. Do you have one of those problem nurses or those problem therapists that you guys work with, or those problem caregivers you work with? Like the worst worker that you have in your company? And they say, yeah, we have a couple of those. We have a couple of those problem people. And I say, okay, would you trust that person to take care of your mom? No, I won't trust them at all. So why are they employed with your company? So you're telling me you're selling your product, then you know that you have a substandard caregiver, substandard nurse that you don't trust? And so we have to understand that we must believe in the product. Everything will translate out there. If you try to hide things, it will still show no matter what. A person said this once, that you can never hide a stench of a rotten flesh. Eventually it's going to seep out and people will smell it. And so you have to understand that before you even start selling, is your product good? And so a company's job is to make sure the product is good, that you guys have the right people working for you. And if they're not supposed to be working for you, they need to be get rid of, because they can actually cause poison within an organization. And at the same time, as if you have those bad products, those bad services, those bad employees, we're not even talking about the service you have, but just the employees alone. Even if you're able to close a deal and get a referral source, eventually they will leave you because you're giving them a substandard product, company, services for their patients. And they don't want to deal with that. They're referring patients to you because why? Because they want to make sure that when they hand it off, they don't have to be worried and be bombarded about complaints. So what are you doing right now to be able to make sure that you have the confidence, that you can trust your program and your product? There's marketers out there that are trying to sell services and programs. They don't even understand what home health really is. They don't really understand what home care does. They don't understand what hospice really does. All they're doing is spitting out whatever is in the website that they have or the brochures that they have. You must understand the product. And you must understand that the reason why you're selling this, because the primary person who's going to benefit from these products, from these services that your agency is offering, is actually the patient.